Welcome, everybody, to the Rope Break. I am your host, Jeff Wolf, and alongside with me is my co-host, Eric Vanek, and today we're going to switch things up a bit. We're going to go right into our recaps for the very best this week of Raw, SmackDown, and Impact, and then getting into a couple big stories that came across the pro wrestling community this week for this week's episode. So let's get right into it and digest Raw, shall we, Eric?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. I know me and you both didn't really care for Raw too much this week. There was a couple big things that I can't even say big. There's a couple interesting things that happened, but for the most part, Raw was not. It wasn't that good. I guess you could say of all three of the shows, SmackDown was probably the best show of all this week.
Yeah, I think so.
But Raw started off big, I guess, with Shield defeating Ray, Kofi, and Big E. And this is basically Shield's bread and butter, it seems, as of late, where they get the opening contest and get the crowd excited. And, I mean, there really was only, I'd say, two good matches, with the main event being pretty good. And this one was really good with the Shield dominating, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely a good performance by the Shield. I mean, at least they changed it up this week and put 3 new people for the other team, so at least that was good. Unlike the week before where Cena screwed up the spear from Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio took another pretty good spear.
He took a nasty spear. That's exactly what I was thinking. As soon as he hit the spear, I was like, well, at least it's different from Cena's botched spear.
Yeah, so we had that this week. It was nice to see Big E back. I guess he had a week off for... don't know for what reason, but he had the week off, so it was nice to see Big E back and get him some momentum coming up for Mania, because I expect Big E to have a pretty big match for Mania. At least I would hope so.
Yeah, I'd hope that I hope that they have something in mind pretty decent for Big E. I mean, his push was going really strong for a while, even more so than Reigns' push, and then Royal Rumble happened, and Reigns came out the superhero there. And Big E's kind of just been a little bit forgotten, so it was nice to see him back. Maybe he got some injuries after the pay-per-view or whatever, but it was nice to see him back. Decent match, definitely. The Shield got the win, and they continue with the Shield dominating, and a little bit of teasing with the Shield like they keep doing, and they do so even more, a lot more on SmackDown that we'll get into later. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, we had a nice little showdown with Big E and Roman there at the end, too.
Yeah, it was a nice little tease for the fans.
Yeah, I kind of hoping they do that match for WrestleMania, but if there's going to be a breakup or something, I'm sure that's going to be the match. But I would have liked to seen Reigns versus Big E at WrestleMania.
I would have loved to see that match, but I don't think we're going to get that from all the reports that we're hearing. But then going past that, because we'll get more into the Shield a little bit later when we get into SmackDown. But the other really good, and I'd say the best match of the night, which wasn't going to be hard to do when you put these two teams together, was the WWE Tag Title match. It was a cage match this week on Raw, seeing the New Age Outlaws defeat the Rhodes Brothers.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid match. I thought it could have been better, honestly. I think you like it more than I did. I think I really downgraded it because the main spot of the match was kind of screwed up when Rhodes did his moonsault over on the top of the cage like I thought he would, and kind of just completely missed Road Dogg. Now, I don't know if I'm guessing that's Road Dogg's fault because he didn't get under him for it and make it look more legit. But I don't know. I thought it was just an okay match. I didn't think it was too special.
Well, I know a lot of people, especially on Twitter, as soon as it happened, people were complaining that Road Dogg didn't catch him, but I don't blame Road Dogg for not catching him during that. I mean, I know there was a report today coming out that there is no heat on Road Dogg for not catching most of Rhodes, because he gets hit very little by Rhodes. But it's like, if he actually gets hit full on from Rhodes, there could be some massive injuries for him. So I don't really blame him. I understand, especially coming from like the Attitude Era that the New Age Outlaws did, and Goldust did, and Cody Rhodes definitely would have been able to fit in that Attitude Era as well. A lot of fans would have loved to see Cody Rhodes actually fully hit Road Dogg with it, but regardless, it was a fun moment. I think it was a good match. It could have been better, definitely, but I thought it was a good match. It was a good way of getting this feud. I would assume to keep going, but time will tell because from what we've seen the last week, it seems they're kind of all over the place with the New Age Outlaws and with the Rhodes Brothers.
Yeah, I'm thinking this will probably be the end of the feud. I could see these guys moving on, and if Cody and Goldust are gonna face off at Mania, I see that program starting here shortly.
Yeah, I mean I would assume that's going to be the goal to get the Rhodes Brothers split. It was interesting, and we'll talk more about it on SmackDown. But there was that little like pre-promo thing showing where Goldust and Cody Rhodes. I kind of thought maybe there would be some kind of the thing that they did with like the Hardys, where Matt was it Matt or yeah it was Matt that got pissed off with Jeff in the cage match. Because he was doing something real risky and kind of blaming him for costing them the titles. I kind of thought they were going to go that route, but they really didn't. They still seem like a cohesive group. But I would hope that that's going to change real soon because I just really want to see Goldust and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then after that, another big. It's not a big thing, but it was actually more disappointing than anything. We have Titus O'Neil getting his first solo match after the players deforming. He fought Zack Ryder, and first, I struggle with this match a lot because Zack Ryder has gotten absolutely nothing in the past. I want to say even maybe year. Like Zack Ryder has been a nobody, and Zack Ryder pretty much dominates Titus until the very end. Titus does pick up the win, but it just seemed like a very wasted attempt at getting Titus over, at least in the ring.
Yeah, Zack Ryder hasn't really been relevant, so I don't know if using him to get Titus over was very smart. But honestly, my favorite part of the match was that Ryder was in it. I was glad to see Zack Ryder because I think he's very talented. A lot of people do. I would love to see him and they're looking for tag teams. Just put him and Kurt Hawkins back together. I mean, they were a great tag team.
Why not? It worked.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the main point of this spot here was to talk a little bit about Titus. His first solo match, I wasn't very impressed with his work. Granted, if it's nerves, if it's, whatnot, being his first time, he wants to make an impression, but I wasn't too thrilled with how he looked.
No, I really wasn't either. I wanted to believe in Titus a little bit more, especially his first match after the breakup. I think it's for someone like Titus, it's very important to get him over with the fans, both in the ring and on the microphone, to see if his potential could get him to where a lot of people believe he can get to. I have my doubts. I've always had my doubts about Titus, and this is not making my doubts go away anytime soon. Another interesting thing that you could go into is The Miz interrupting announcing. I'm not sure, was it? Do you remember if it was during the Titus and Zack Ryder match? For some reason I want to say it was, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't really remember either. I want to say so though. Yes.
I think it was because I think he made a Ryder comment. Regardless, it doesn't really matter. It was me being a big Miz fan, and I will never say I'm not. I am a Miz fan. It was fun to see him kind of just having that attitude again, coming out, interrupting, announcing for it was 10, 15 seconds. Nothing big at all. But it was kind of, at least it was getting him out there saying, I'm pissed off with what's going on. I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome.
Yeah. He was just saying, you're going to put this bullshit in the ring over me. You guys are crazy. So I kind of like it, and I hope Miz keeps doing it and kind of makes something out of it and turns back to... he could be a face with an attitude or a heel with an attitude. Yeah. Just as long as he has something, because he's talented. Yeah, the Miz is, he's going to have that attitude regardless. That's just who his character is. So it really doesn't matter if he's a face or a heel. If he's a face, he's going to have an attitude, and he's just going to be kind of doing smirky kind of things, saying that I'm not that completely of an asshole. Or he's going to be a heel, and he's just going to be a complete ass. Yeah. So another debut that happened
kind of was Emma. We've been seeing Emma come out with those Evolution signs for a while now. Whenever Summer Rae was out, and then Emma actually got to be in the ring and did her dancing, if you could say that.
Yeah, the dance off with Summer Rae.
Yeah, doing those little. I don't even know what you would call what she does.
It's her own little thing. I mean, she's been doing it in NXT, and now they're bringing it up to the WWE. And I don't really have a problem with it. It's something new, something different. I mean, she's goofy, she's a little dorky. It's exposure for the women's division. It's something new, something different, something fun for the fans to do. Something for the fans to get behind. I've seen a couple of her matches in NXT. She's actually one of the better NXT women in the ring. I just hope she continues to improve. And I mean, she's decent on the mic from what I've heard. And if she continues to improve, she could be a nice, solid contender in the women's division. Yeah,
the good thing about NXT, men and women, they have people there that can go. And the women that they've had there for the last couple of months are going to be awesome to see when they finally get up to the main stage. It'll be cool to see when Emma gets into the ring, because you're right, she is good and she is talented. I'm interested to see Summer get in the ring too. I just hope that Emma, it doesn't become a Santino or a Great Khali where she's just there for entertainment. I hope they do actually take her serious and they do let her get in the ring, because this women's division needs something new.
Yeah, it needs a little spark. I mean, they tried it with the Total Divas thing, but I mean, it's really, we've had Naomi making her run here lately, which is great, and all that, but we got, I mean, it's the same usual 5-on-5, Total Divas versus the regular, not on Total Divas fighting. Yeah, it's the same thing over and over, so it's nice to get some new faces in there.
Yeah, it's getting a little old with basically the Diva show versus everyone else.
Yeah.
And then we get into Del Rio and Batista, which I just don't understand. I mean, I understand this because of the social media that was going on before Batista debuted. I just don't get the whole thing with what they're doing with Batista, because if they don't tell you he's the winner of the Royal Rumble, you would have forgotten by now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone knows he's got the match against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Well, whoever the WWE World Heavyweight Champion is going to be, which is fine. I liked this segment because Del Rio came out, and I don't want to say it was a shoot per se, but it was kind of a shoot.
Yeah,
with a lot of people doing that. Yeah, with a lot of people's feelings of, you think you can just show up and take, my title shot, and I've been here working, every day. Del Rio said that, so I liked to see a little fire from Del Rio. I think Del Rio's a very good wrestler, and if these two end up having a match at Elimination Chamber, I think this is going to be good for Batista. It's going to get him ready for WrestleMania, because he's going to be working with a very good worker in Del Rio. There's reports coming out that Del Rio, after his contract's up, he's going to be done and just go home, which is fine. So I really don't see Del Rio getting a push anymore. I see him just being a guy to get people over from here on out.
Yeah, and you brought up a couple good points. This is actually a really great match for Batista to get ready for, simply because Del Rio is a more grounded kind of wrestler, so he's not going to have to run around the ring too much. I think it'll be a great warm-up for Batista, and Batista has to have a really good showing for this. On the other side, I think Del Rio, I loved what Del Rio was saying, because you're right, it was kind of half of a shoot. I mean, that's the beauty of Twitter, and that's the beauty of why I think Vince McMahon has started to be okay with Twitter, because even though
it's another way to get more feuds going and more publicity and people talking about the product. More people talking about the product, more eyes on the product means more money for the WWE.
Yeah, it exposes the business to a sense, but I think we're way past that point. That happened years and years ago, where there was more people realizing exactly what professional wrestling is. But it adds a whole new element of realism to the industry. And yeah, I really liked what Del Rio was doing, and I just liked it. I mean, I can't say I like Del Rio that much very often anymore, but I
You
actually
don't
really
like him
did
at
enjoy
all.
this.
You don't like him at all. Don't lie.
I used to, but yeah, not so much anymore. And then for the main event, we had Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. Um, it started off a little slow, but it picked up quickly. It was a good match. Daniel Bryan, anytime Daniel Bryan's in the ring, especially with a main eventer like Randy Orton, it's going to be a good match. I was a little surprised to see Daniel Bryan just get the win. How about you?
Um, I don't know. I mean, they wanted to push Daniel Bryan as the face of the WWE, and Kane came out and got involved, and Daniel Bryan still picked up the win. So I thought that was nice. I thought it was a very good match as well. It's kind of interesting because, well, maybe not that interesting, but you know, when you see Randy Orton and John Cena go, it was like at Royal Rumble, you're like, you know, this match was terrible. It was the worst match on the card almost.
Yeah.
And then you put him in there with Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, and it's just worlds better. I mean, it was another very good match, maybe the best match on Raw this year so far. It was a very good showing from both guys, so I enjoyed it. Now we're going to have Randy Orton has to face all of his Elimination Chamber opponents for the next couple weeks up until the Chamber. So SmackDown will talk about his match that he had there. And then this coming Monday on Raw, the main event has already been announced where it's going to be John Cena and Randy Orton for on Monday Night Raw in the main event, which will be interesting. The match sucked last time, so hopefully it's better this time.
Yeah, hopefully they can change something up. Hopefully they realize that match just wasn't entertaining. I mean, yeah, the fans were completely hacking that match, but the match was not entertaining. And I don't know if those two, I'm going to say I don't think they have chemistry, but they do get a chance of redemption, so we'll see how that goes. With the Daniel Bryan and Orton match, yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was great to have Kane out there. Earlier in the night, Bryan and Kane kind of went back and forth, reminding everyone that they were together at one point, and they were an awesome tag team. I just wasn't so sure if I liked the fact that Bryan got the win on Orton in a clean fashion. Imagine if Punk actually would have been able to come back. Imagine if they actually would have been able to come back to terms. If Punk would have like saved Bryan at that point or something, or attacked Orton and let Bryan get the win, that roof would have gone insane.
Oh yeah, it would have flew off.
But yeah, that was Raw. I know both of us have mixed emotions on the card, up and down. Overall, it was an
Average.
okay show. It was an average show, I'd say at best.
Yep.
A couple good matches.
I think the Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton match was very good, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So I think that kind of saved it. If that match would have sucked, this Raw would have been very bad.
Yeah. And then ending on Raw, we go right into SmackDown, where we start off with the Shield again. This time it wasn't all three members; it was Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And they defeated Kofi and Ziggler, and we had Seth on commentary. Again, Michael Cole going back and forth with him on just planting the seed of there's friction, just like how WCW used to do with the NWO and like with Hogan and Savage. And Nash is like there was always friction there, so they're definitely aiming towards breaking them up. It's just a matter of when and how at this point. I believe, just because it's going so far. And then with that Ambrose and Reigns match, it was a really good match against Kofi and Ziggler.
Yep.
It was. I loved how it ended, where Reigns got the win, and then he's like, "All right, you want the pinfall so much, you can get it, Dean."
Yeah, and he just walked over and slapped him on the chest and tagged him in, which I thought was a really cool touch to add to this feud.
Yeah.
Definitely was a very good opening match. I mean, Kofi and Ziggler are two of the best workers in the WWE right now.
Oh, yeah.
So that they were, I mean, it's not like a permanent tag team or anything, but just two guys kind of throwing together, and it worked well. Reigns got the big spear at the end and tagged Ambrose in. and let Ambrose get the pin. And it seemed like Ambrose was kind of cocky about it, and he didn't care that Reigns did all the heavy work as long as Ambrose got the win. So I mean, it kind of just teased things for the future even more. So when this team finally does implode and break up, it should be pretty epic because it's been given the proper build up.
It really has. Like, as much as they've built up the Shield as the most powerful force or trio, I guess you could say, in the WWE, they're putting a lot of effort into the push of them breaking up as well. And it'll be really interesting to see just how they separate all three, just to see if they all go their separate ways, if there's two that stick together and one breaks off or what. But yeah, it was a really solid match, and anytime you have your opponents being Kofi and Ziggler, it's going to be a good match overall. So it was interesting that they put those two together, but I loved seeing them together, and I wouldn't mind seeing them as a tag team. But I don't think that's really their goal. I think they're just trying to put high profile talent with the Shield to have great matches.
Yeah.
And then a surprising thing happened on SmackDown this week. We saw an actual decent match by Ryback. I mean, he lost to Sheamus, but it was a really good match, actually. I was very surprised.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It was a very good match. I guess you could say they both are similar in talent and wrestling skill. So they mesh real well together. I know they're kind of looking at maybe even doing another match with these two, maybe at Elimination Chamber, probably maybe like an opening match or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
No, actually, Sheamus is in the Chamber. What am I?
Yeah, that can't happen.
So, I know they wanted to continue this feud, though. I remember reading that. There was a move in the match that I really thought was cool. It kind of just shocked me when Sheamus went for the bro kick and Ryback caught him when his leg was in the air and pulled him up for a power bomb and just slammed him down hard. And it was a really awesome counter, something I haven't seen from Ryback. It kind of makes me think, okay, maybe Ryback's starting to turn the corner a little bit. I mean, he's still a douchebag. There's no doubt about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But hey, if he's going to be entertaining and put on matches like this every week, I'm all for seeing him more on TV.
Oh yeah, I mean, when Ryback first came in as a face, I was really behind him. I thought his matches were, I mean, there was obvious squash matches, but when he actually had regular matches, I thought it was something new, something different, and I enjoyed it. And then he went over the other side and was facing Cena, and he just lost everything at that point.
Yeah, I think his promo skills really turned me off because he was terrible.
Yeah, he really was bad. But yeah, it was a pleasant surprise seeing him and Sheamus have a really good match, and I definitely wouldn't mind that feud continuing after the Chamber. Heck, even maybe doing a kind of thing where they've done in the past where Ryback attacks Sheamus and Ryback goes into the Chamber. I think that would maybe intensify their feud too. So it was a good match. It was definitely a good surprise. And then we go from good to great because Daniel Bryan fought Cesaro on SmackDown, and it was an awesome match.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you're probably putting the two best wrestlers in the company right now in the same ring. You're going to get magic, and that's pretty much what it was. I love that they're showing off Antonio Cesaro as a legitimate contender and showing off his skills because he's earned it. I mean, the guy has tremendous skill. He's good on the mic. He's got charisma. He really is the total package. So hopefully this is just the start of Antonio Cesaro's rise.
Yeah, they keep pushing him more and more, making his matches longer, putting him with better talent, really showing off his skills, and he is absolutely one of the most fantastic wrestlers they have right now. Everything he does in the ring is entertaining, and you can respect that. As a pro wrestling fan, you definitely can respect that. As an entertainment fan, you can still respect that because his matches are always entertaining. He's got a lot of charisma, even though he's not really able to show it. He shows it more so in the ring. This match was amazing, and I mean, easily the best match of the night.
Oh yeah, the hands down.
And then we've been getting a couple promos for Alexander Rusev. Is that how you say his last name?
Rusev.
Rusev. I like the girl that's with him, definitely. I know you're really high on this guy.
Yeah, Lana is her name, and she gives him definitely a new character. She's very controlling over him. And it's not like a love relationship, it's a business relationship, as they put it. She does all of his business work, his flights, his contracts, and all that, and it just allows Rusev to wrestle, is how they put it, and allow Rusev to focus on his craft. He's been very solid in NXT. Obviously, the guy is just a brute force. I mean, the guy is huge.
Yeah.
So, right there, WWE loves him because they love those big monster guys. But the thing is, he can wrestle. I mean, he's not, Mark Henry or Big Show where he's only got limited movesets now. This guy can do some wrestling moves. So, it's going to be very interesting to see him. He is going to be the next, bigger guy that comes up and does something. I don't want to say he's going to be like Big E Langston has been lately, but I think he could definitely become a Big E Langston and get the kind of push that Big E's gotten lately.
Yeah, he's definitely got the body similar to a Big E, and he can definitely go in the ring. I know he's done some dominating things in NXT. They've been talking about him for a long time now, coming up to the main roster. So we saw him at the Rumble. He was the chosen one, like they've done in the past for NXT guys to kind of get that push. I hope they put more into him than they did with Bo Dallas last year. I mean, I'm not a big Bo Dallas fan. I don't think Bo Dallas has what it takes to be onto this main roster, so that didn't bother me. But I do hope that they give this guy a chance. And I mean, he's got the size going for him, if anything. And we both know that Vince loves that size.
Well, yeah, and what they need to do is just throw a belt on this guy. I mean, like I said, I've told you before, Dean Ambrose hasn't defended the United States Championship since October.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once that little breakup happens, I would maybe just have Rusev versus Ambrose, and maybe Reigns cost Ambrose the title or something. That way you can get the title on Rusev and just let him dominate.
Yeah.
It would make the U.S. title a little bit more of a prize to shoot for, because you want to be the first one to knock this guy off. So he's not going to be, a talker or anything. He's got Lana behind him, so I like it. I like him a lot, and I'm interested to see where WWE goes with him. I don't think they're going to waste him. I think they know hey, we got something good here. Let's use it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that goes on in the future. Hopefully they do something with him, and it's not just wasted talent. We got a couple more minutes to talk about SmackDown. I want to just quickly get into Titus O'Neil's first promo. To me, it kind of felt 80s like. It wasn't a bad promo. It wasn't a good promo. It was interesting, is the best way you could put it.
Yep.
My biggest problem with the promo, though, was him getting attacked by Darren Young. And he got attacked good by Darren Young. It wasn't just like a quick punch or whatever, and then they go back and forth a little bit. Darren Young got the very, very best of Titus, and I understand you want to kind of give Darren Young that little kind of push because he got beat up in the middle of the ring by his former partner and everything. But when you put together Titus's debut solo match on Raw and you put together this first promo, I just think you do more bad than good for Titus when Titus needs a whole lot of good happening real quick to make this even work.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think that's why I asked you about the promo when you saw it, if you thought it was good or bad, because I couldn't really decide if it was good or bad. I thought it was. I think it was good that they gave him airtime and let him speak, but it also was just kind of seemed awkward. Actually, I would have rather have seen the roles reversed here, with Darren Young giving the interview and Renee Young asking him, how he feels about the split and everything, and then I would have had Titus attack him. I thought that would have been much better thing to do.
I think it would have been smarter to do that as well, because it would have kept the emotion on how much you feel for Darren Young getting attacked and getting taken out of this tag partner, his tag partner kind of just ending it, and then his tag partner just even insulting him more and hurting him more. It would have added more emotion for a match leading up. But yeah, I don't think this was done correctly. So we'll see what they do in the future with this. But so far, not too excited about Titus being on his own. I don't have too high of hopes for him.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think either of us do. So.
No. And then lastly with SmackDown, we're going to talk about the main event. We had Randy Orton taking on Christian, which was definitely a solid match. It was nothing too spectacular, but I really do like the fact that Christian looks like he hasn't missed anything since coming back.
Yeah, I've read some things where people didn't like what Christians has been doing, but I don't know if they're watching the same thing that I am, to be honest. I thought it was a solid match too. Wasn't spectacular. I think since I'm a Christian fan and how well he's been doing, I think especially with Orton coming off the Daniel Bryan match, I was kind of expecting this match to be another really good one. Maybe not as good as the Daniel Bryan match, but like a step below. But it wasn't bad at all. I thought it was a little bit above average. I think these two guys could do better though.
Yeah.
But I think it gives Christian, a little legitimate more shot to win the Chamber. I mean, I don't think anybody really expects him to win the Chamber match, but it makes him more believable to win it. I'm glad they're using Christian more. They're giving him a little push. They're letting him get in there with the Randy Ortons of the world, so I like it.
Yeah, and the ending to it was awesome with Christian coming off the top and looking to hit him with just like a body splash, but then Orton hits the RKO to win it. I thought it was done really well, and yeah, I'd definitely say at least above average of a rating. And then SmackDown overall was a really good show, like from head to toe. There was a lot of good stuff. SmackDown compared to Raw, and definitely compared to Impact, and we'll get into that next. But yeah, I thought SmackDown was definitely the highlight show of the week.
Yeah, I agree 100%. SmackDown was very good, and SmackDown the last couple weeks has been pretty good. So hopefully it gets back to the mid-2000 range.
Yes.
Where we had Eddie Guerrero and Edge and Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar and all them guys on SmackDown, where SmackDown was the best wrestling show.
That's what it was. It was more of, for pro wrestling fans, SmackDown was the show to watch. Raw definitely had the storylines and the entertainment factor, but SmackDown for the pure wrestling fans was better. And you're right. I think they're getting back to that, showing Bryan and Cesaro right there. That's exactly what it used to be.
Yeah.
And then so now we're going to get into the evil stepchild of professional wrestling, and that is TNA Impact. And I remember going back last week, me and you were saying that we were really pleasantly surprised with Impact last week. And we followed that up by usually Impact will have one good show and then multiple horrendous shows. This show wasn't horrendous, but oh my gosh, it was not good.
No, it really wasn't. Just seemed kind of, like a script wasn't written, just like, hey, go on out there, do what you do. Okay.
Yeah.
So it had its good points and it had its really bad points.
Yeah. One of the really good points started the show, and that was Abyss and Eric Young in a Monsters Ball match. They both were real physical. It was a real physical match. It was a good hardcore type of match. People can say what they want about Eric Young, and he used to be completely comedy. He's not. They've gotten away from that, thank God, a little bit at least. And he will take bumps, and he took bumps in this match. Abyss beat him for the storyline purposes. Obviously, he has to beat him. I mean, you're not going to have Eric Young defeat Abyss. But it was a really good match, and the ending was very interesting with Eric Young taking off the mask, and then Abyss kind of picking up the mirror piece, if you will, and seeing that he's Joseph Park as well as Abyss, and I don't know where exactly they go from here. It's just, this is like I said last week, this is just dragging on and dragging on. I'm ready to just see an ending to this angle.
Well, yeah, I hope this is the ending.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree with you. It was actually a very good, solid hardcore match. We don't see very much hardcore matches anymore. So, I mean, you don't see them in WWE that much. They've gone away from that. But TNA usually can deliver some good hardcore matches. I mean, it's a thing that the fans love to see. Wrestling fans love to see tables and chairs and thumbtacks and all that. So it was great. Eric Young took a nice bump off the top rope through the table. That was pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed Abyss doing the thumbtacks and Eric Young reversing the attack in the corner into a powerbomb, and he slammed Abyss down into those thumbtacks, and the blood just poured right out of the arm of Abyss. I mean, you just saw those thumbtacks stick in. I mean, it wasn't just a light landing into him. I mean, he was powerbombed into the thumbtacks, and you could tell.
Yeah, this was easily the most entertaining match. There was only one other match on the card that was, I'd say, a better match, but this is not really a wrestling match. This is just
it was a brawl.
This is saying, hey, let's do some ECW stuff right now, and let's excite the crowd. And that's what they did. It was a really good way to start off the show. I hope you're right. I hope this is the end to the angle. Just because I'm just getting a little tired of it now. I mean, we've been doing this for so long now. It's like, just end it.
Yep.
And then after that, we get into finally hearing MVP talk, really for the first time, about the changes he wants to see in Impact. I still am not super excited about him being an investor and a wrestler. Later on in the night, he talks about that he's not only going to be an investor, he also is going to be forceful, making you believe that he really is going to wrestle. And it was good for what it was, I guess. I mean, there's not much you can really say about it. I mean, he's just saying we need change in Impact, and like every single fan has been saying for the last couple months to the last year.
Yeah, and it's pretty much what you said. They need a little change, and he's just talking about how they're going to change it, which is fine. I thought it was a decent promo, good opening promo for him. I mean, just American wrestling fans haven't seen MVP since he left WWE a couple years ago. So it's nice to see him again and see him talking, because he is a very charismatic person and character. So it's good to see him back until Rockstar Spud came out and ruined it.
Yep. And we'll get more into MVP and Dixie. They do a promo at the end of the show. We'll get more into that a little bit later. But the next thing was something where they dropped the ball yet again. Austin Aries came out, cut a promo. Zema Ion then came out with his briefcase, attacked Austin with it, and we then start the match having Zema Ion cash in his X-title shot. This match lasts 2 minutes and 11 seconds, and Zema gets the loss, not the win. He gets the loss. Not that I wanted him to get the win, but I just feel this was such a wasted match for one of these briefcases. And these briefcases, they just keep becoming more of a joke and more of a joke, I feel.
Oh yeah, I agree. They're definitely become a big joke. Zema Ion's not a bad wrestler. I mean,
no.
If you put him and Aries in a regular match with some hype and at least a little bit of build-up, these guys can go for 10, 15 minutes and entertain the shit out of you. So, I mean, I like how, he got distracted and Austin Aries got hit with the briefcase. Zema was mad because he tried to go for the quick pin to get the title and it wouldn't work. I'm glad that, Aries won. He's probably one of my favorite wrestlers in all of wrestling. So it was nice to see him come back in the match and do his signature moves. Hit the drop kick in the corner, hit him in the face pretty good, and then he hit a real sick brain buster on him to get the win. It's nice to see Aries back on Impact. We haven't seen him in a couple weeks since winning the title. So it was just nice to see Aries back and back in the ring. But I agree with you. These briefcases that they have are really just a joke. I don't even think Ethan Carter carries around his briefcase anymore, the tag team one.
No, we haven't even seen that. And then the world title one has it been put into like 2 matches already?
I think it was just the one match with him and Storm.
Okay,
but...
I thought there was another one that they threw it in. Then after that we get into Christy Hemme and Sam Shaw, which I know we both are enjoying this angle. It's a little bit different. It's Sam Shaw being really, really creepy. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it's not really like TNA-ish to do this kind of thing. It's like...
yeah, it's different for them.
Yeah, it's different, and they do like hidden video cameras kind of thing, kind of like WWE used to do with the hidden video camera angle back in the Attitude Era. I forget what it was called.
Like
maybe
GTV?
Yeah, something like that. So I'm kind of wondering if there's somebody behind these videos, or are they just like Sam Shaw's personal, crazy videos. But I would kind of like to see maybe a Sam Shaw versus whoever is video recording feud. It would make that really good. We've seen Sam Shaw just in one quick squash match. I definitely want to see him more in the ring and develop his character more in the ring, but I like his look. I like how he acts, how he talks. I know when he first came in and I saw him on Gut Check, I was like, he's okay. We'll see what he does. But now he has a gimmick, a solid gimmick. It's creepy. It's something new, and it has me interested. And he's done a very good job at it. It really is creepy. He's got the look, how he has his hair done and his clothes. He just has that creepy look to him, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's one of the only things in TNA where I can say I'm actually interested in seeing what they do next with it.
Yeah. That's the thing with TNA is there's some things that they do you're really interested in. Like you're like, wow, this is pretty cool because it's something new, something different. And then they come out and the next segment even, I'm not saying for this show, but like the next segment is just like, I mean, who's writing this? It's like, you don't know. It's so up and down. It's either really good or really bad.
Yeah. And this is definitely interesting, and I do like the creepy factor to it. So we'll see where they take this. Maybe Sam Shaw will get too creepy, and then Christy Hemme brings in another guy, and they kind of just have a match or something. Who knows? But I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah, the gimmick is fresh because I haven't seen a stalker gimmick really since DDP did it in WWE when he came in the first time when he stalked Sarah, the Undertaker's wife. So it's not a gimmick that's done a whole lot. It's fresh. It's new. And, I mean, DDP did that, 2002, 2003, or wherever in that era.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something new, something that hasn't been done in a while.
Yeah. And then another kind of thing where, I don't know. We have Magnus versus Kurt Angle. And a part of me says that they dropped the ball with this because the match started off really good, and I thought that there was a potential to be a really good wrestling match here. But at the other side, they got it interrupted by EC3 attacking Kurt Angle, which I also enjoy because we both are EC3 fans. You more so than me. You got me onto him a little bit, but I like seeing EC3 attacking a big guy. Earlier in the night, EC3 was kind of just brushed off from Dixie Carter. He needed to talk to her about something, and she just didn't give him the time of the day. So I think this is just him saying, like, this is what I can do, take me serious, and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it because it does something else with EC3. But I was a little disappointed that the fact that Magnus and Angle didn't get to have an actual good professional wrestling match.
Well, there's multiple factors here, I think. With Kurt Angle, he's hurt right now. There's no doubt about it. He's playing hurt right now.
Yeah.
And it shows in his matches. He's a very tough guy. He's very stubborn. He's not going to come out because he knows that TNA needs him right now. I mean, he's one of their biggest wrestlers, best wrestlers, I mean. And he needs to go out there and perform and give these fans, I mean, they're overseas, so those fans came to pay and see him. I mean, he's a big name. So I understand why he goes out there. So the match wasn't as good because of that. Then you throw in Magnus and EC3. Those two have been going back and forth, jawing at each other. So it was kind of weird to see EC3 come out and help Magnus after all of that. but I understand because they're doing the feud with Kurt Angle and EC3. But it's up in the air. I don't really know how you would do it without really thinking about it. But, EC3 really helped Magnus, even though they're kind of having a feud, and Magnus thinks EC3's a piss-on, pretty much.
Yeah, and we'll see where TNA takes this in the future with all three people, really, with Angle, EC3, and Magnus. I'm not sure they even know exactly what they're doing right now, which you could say that how many times with TNA. Yeah, they're kind of all over the place sometimes. So yeah, I was kind of in the middle about this, but there was definitely worse stuff that happened on the show. And then we go into the main event of the night. It didn't end the night, but it was the main event of the night, and it was a really good main event. We had Samoa Joe taking on Bobby Roode for the number one contendership, which I thought Joe had already won the number one contendership. So that's another thing of TNA, that they don't really think things through all the time. But regardless, they had a really good match, a really, really good match, actually, I thought. Definitely pay-per-view quality match, very physical. Joe and Roode are easily two of the best performers in TNA right now, and they really had, like I said, a pay-per-view quality kind of match.
Yeah, it was a great match from these two. I mean, you wouldn't expect anything less from these two. They're professionals. They're very good at what they do. So I wasn't surprised to see this be a very good match. The reason, though, for Joe and Roode, they're doing this angle where Dixie had promised Bobby Roode, a title shot against Magnus, and she couldn't give it to him because of the new investor. So she had promised him a title shot, and Samoa Joe already had the title shot. So they just kind of made this match. All right, well, now let's see who the real number one contender is. So it's a little messed up, I know, but that was the whole thinking behind it. But it turned into a great match. There was something big on the line, so these two put on a really good performance. So I was happy to see it. I'm happy to see Joe get the win. Joe deserves it, and he's been working his ass off for years in TNA, so it's good to see a Joe versus Magnus match. Both are, former tag team champions together, so it'll be interesting to see how this feud collides and ends, and I hope Joe comes out on top, but I don't think they're going to do it this soon.
Yeah, Joe definitely deserves it. I think if TNA is going down as much as people have been talking about, I think Joe as the champion will give them more. I don't even know the word I would say. It would look better for them with Joe as the champion versus Magnus as the champion right now. So hopefully Joe does get the win. Above all else, I was glad Joe to become the true number one contender. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely a definite solid match. Easily the best wrestling match on the card. And then to end the night, we have MVP and Dixie kind of doing a promo to end the show in the middle of the ring with that little cockroach with Dixie. It was more so just what they did the whole night, where just Dixie's just talking about how her way works. If people get behind her, then this company is going to be very successful. MVP is like, that's absolutely false. That's not going to happen. Things need to change. She doesn't know anything about professional wrestling, and her time is done. And MVP is here to make sure things change and make sure there's a equal playing field for everyone. So you don't have people like Sting and Jeff Hardy leaving the company and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was just a promo to get the point across, pretty much. It's going to be Dixie versus MVP's team, pretty much, and her way versus my way. So just pretty much to build MVP up behind the fan base and let the fan base get behind MVP and his group of guys.
Yeah. So overall, Impact was not good. That's
it had its good points and it had its bad points.
Yeah,
so
it had some good points.
Typical TNA stuff. So
yeah.
It was definitely the worst show out of the 3 of the week. I wouldn't say it was. I would say just a tiny bit below average.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see things get better next week with Impact. But yeah, easily the least favorable show that we watched this week. And so then that's basically it for our recap portion of the show. We have another 10, 15 minutes to talk about the actual hot topics coming out this week. And there wasn't too many, but there were a couple that we wanted to bring up. First being, I think it was just reported yesterday on Saturday or Friday. It was either Friday or Saturday. It seems like Layla is not going to be returning to the ring for the WWE. And this is a huge loss for them. I know she's been battling injuries for years now, but this is really bad for the women's division that's already faltering with good female talent. Layla was easily one of the top female wrestlers. So seeing her not be able to return to the ring is pretty devastating, I think, for the division as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, she does a lot of stuff for WWE outside the ring, promotional work with like the Be a Star and all that kind of stuff. So she'll be kept around for that. I mean, like when we were talking about before, I mean, she started off really on her WWE career as a manager for William Regal. So I could see her being a successful manager. I mean, you got all these young NXT kids coming up, you know, pair Layla and one of these NXT stars together and just see where it goes. I mean, you don't really see, you know, girl managers too much anymore with the guys. I mean, you get a couple here and there, but it's just something new, something different. So she's talented at what she does. So I'm interested to see if WWE even uses her anymore, though.
Yeah, I would agree, and I would love to see her as a manager. It doesn't even have to be for NXT. It could just be for someone on the main roster that has the talent. They just don't have the mic skills, and she definitely can bring that. I mean, she's obviously super sexy, and she has a good way of getting her point across on the mic. So it would definitely be a great thing to team her up with someone. But yeah, definitely is disappointed that she's not going to be in the ring, but hopefully they do utilize her in a different capacity. And next thing we're going to talk about is the WWE Network Launch Day. There's been it kind of seems in the last couple of days they're going to make this a really, really big show from Green Bay, which is interesting that's where it ended up being, because it's not a huge WWE market or anything like that, but apparently The Undertaker is going to be appearing. It seems like that's pretty much in place. Who else do you think might be there?
I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there for things. Sting still hasn't signed yet, technically, from what we hear from rumors. So if Sting signs before then, Sting could be a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised to see like Ric Flair, Roddy Piper there. They're going to be obviously big names, but I think the big name that everyone is kind of hoping and expecting is going to be Hulk Hogan. And if Hulk Hogan is there, that's going to be huge. That's going to bring ratings. That's going to bring fans and more eyeballs to the product and really just start the WWE Network off on a bright note.
I think if there's one person that would be able to get people excited for this network that are maybe newer fans and they didn't really get to see much stuff from the 80s or 90s, it's definitely Hulk Hogan. And being able to be there for the first couple WrestleManias and then also for the content with WCW where he was such a huge factor. I think if they were able to get Hulk Hogan on this show, it would be great. I know. Now, getting Undertaker on the show is awesome, obviously. But I think if you're able to get Hulk Hogan on that show, get people excited, especially that night going right into the show, I think you're gonna get people just really excited for the network and really wanting to do it. I know we will be the very first people being able to even buy this network. I know me and you are both super excited about it. I can't wait for it. But I really do hope that there's some really cool surprises on that launch day Raw, like a Hogan, Ric Flair, definitely Undertaker, just maybe some people from the past that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even mind seeing like Ultimate Warrior and Jake the Snake come back since they're in the WWE Hall of Fame or going to be inducted this year.
Yeah, bring
I would like
in.
to see. Yeah, I would love to see Ultimate Warrior come out. Maybe have a Ultimate Warrior and Hogan showdown in the ring to end the night. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be epic if they did that. I know a lot of people are big Warrior fans, but for nostalgic reasons, getting to see Warrior and Hogan eye to eye again, that would be really cool, I think.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. So, there's no telling what they can do. I think you can expect Batista and Brock Lesnar; those guys will be there. Cena, Daniel Bryan, all them guys. I would personally love to see Hogan. I would love to see Ultimate Warrior. But the other big one I would love to see come back would be CM Punk, obviously. But who knows about that?
Yeah, no big update on CM Punk as we're bringing that up right now. The only thing coming in this week really is that Vince McMahon really wants him back. It seems Hunter Triple H doesn't really care to bring him back, which doesn't surprise me because if anyone has watched the I think it was the latest Stone Cold documentary, and they go over the part where Stone Cold kind of did the same thing that CM Punk is doing right now. Triple H was very against what Stone Cold did, so it doesn't shock me that Triple H is against what CM Punk is doing right here too. But that's basically all the update we can give you guys right now about that. They're asking fans not to ask about him. They're asking fans not to make signs about him. It seems more and more like it's not they're not close. I'll put it that way right now. But get back into what we were talking about. With the thought that Hulk Hogan could be on this network, or he's going to be on the network, but Hulk Hogan being signed, what kind of role do you think that they would actually put Hulk Hogan in a role like on a Raw or on a SmackDown?
Well, I think the obvious answer would be a GM role. He's done it in TNA, so he's got experience doing it. I think he did a pretty good job as the TNA general manager. Definitely gets people excited. He's an authority figure. No one's going to bully Hulk Hogan around, sort of say. So I think that would be a great role for him. There's rumors of him being the host of WrestleMania this year. I was never really a big host of WrestleMania fan anyway. So.
I hated that with Rock. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Hogan being as a GM kind of role would be fun for the WWE. At least for the next 6 months to a year. I don't really see him being like a commissioner kind of role like Mick Foley was. But definitely a GM would work. I know in TNA it worked. I enjoyed him as a GM. I didn't enjoy Hogan kind of being with Bischoff when he first came in with TNA and stuff like that. But seeing Hogan kind of like as a good guy in a role of power, I kind of dig that. So, and I mean, who doesn't love Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, exactly. So I would definitely love to see Hogan back, and everybody would love to see Hogan back, I'm pretty sure. So.
Well, I think that is going to end the show for this week. Hopefully we have more to report on the CM Punk issue. Hopefully we have more to report on the Sting issue. Big week coming up, and big couple weeks coming up in WWE, really.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure you guys check us out on Twitter at The Rope Break. Check us out at Facebook, The Rope Break as well. And what else do we got, Jeff? I forget.
We have our YouTube. We have our Facebook. We have Twitter. We are on Podomatic. We are trying to get on Podbean, but we're still looking into that money-wise. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you ask us questions. I am on Twitter every single Monday night doing live opinions and live results going on. So yeah, make sure you follow us, and we will see you guys next week.
All right, we'll see you guys later.